Hello and welcome to my show, Bottom Line. As you know, Parliament session is on. We are going to discuss a special amendment to the Constitution Bill, which would provide 33% reservations to women in various legislation, including the Parliament. Well, that will be done after the delimitation takes place on the basis of 2011 census report. That's a big if. When it happens, how it will happen, that's a question which is yet to be answered by anyone. But political parties are engaged in some kind of a bloody battle. They are accusing the ruling party of using the platform of parliament for political brownie points. But what's the truth about women? What's the actual truth about women's reservation? Is it a hypocrisy or they really mean it? That is what I am going to discuss in the bottom line, starting with just one figure. And that figure is 9%. That is the share of women in India's state assemblies today. 9% across 4,100 odd MLAs in all the assemblies put together, which is our world's largest democracy. And the parties responsible for what? 9%? The parties that chose 91% male candidates in all the assembly elections. Across 75 years of free election, those same parties are now standing in parliament promising women 33% reservation. What a joke. Do they need a constitutional amendment to force themselves to do what they are planning to do now? They could have done it voluntarily anytime during the past 77 decades. Read that again. I'm saying that again. A constitutional amendment to force political party to do something they always had the power to do and always chose not to do. That is not empowerment arriving. That is hypocrisy being dressed up in constitutional clothing and being sold to you as a revolution. Every party is going to say we are supporting it. They have been shouting from the rooftops, we will support it. But if and what? Most of the parties opposed in the past. Today I am going to name every party, show you every number, the Lok Sabha, the State Assembly, the party organization, and ask the same question. Nobody in the parliament is asking why they applaud each other for passing the bill unanimously if they ultimately do. Just stay with me for a couple of minutes. Let us build the full picture for you, because the 9% of the state assemblies is just the beginning of the story. Start with parliament itself. The 18th Lok Sabha, formed after 2024 election, has 542 elected seats. Women hold 74 of them. 13.6% only. And here is the detail that should make every celebrating politician pause. Why? That number is actually lower than 2019, when women held 78 seats, 14.4%. The 2024 election was the first held after Women's Reservation Bill was actually passed in 2023. Parliament passed the bill, parties went to the election, and women representation actually went down. Party by party in the Lok Sabha, BJP 31 women out of 240 they won, 12.9%. Congress 13 women out of 99 they got, 13%. TMC 11 women out of 29 seats, 38%, that's quite high. And SP 5 women, DMK 3, JDU 2, LJPRB 2, and the AAP, which voted for the Women Reservation Bill as a national party, fielded just one woman among these 20 odd Lok Sabha candidates. Perhaps just one. Now come to the state assemblies. This is where the real scale of the failure of all the parties become undeniable. 4,100 odd MLAs across India. 390 are women. 9%, just 9%. Among state assemblies, Uttar Pradesh leads in absolute numbers with 47 women MLAs. West Bengal has 40, Bihar 29, Madhya Pradesh 27, But even Uttar Pradesh, with 47 women MLAs out of 403 or 4, is barely above 11%. Party-wise women MLAs across all state assemblies, BJP leads just in absolute number with 163 women MLAs. Congress has 59, TMC has 34. But look at the proportional picture. The BJP 163 women MLAs come from a total of more than 1400 MLAs. The TMC 34 come from a much similar total and represent a far higher proportion of its overall representation. The pattern is consistent and it is damning. Across 7 decades and hundreds of elections, every major party has had complete freedom to give women more tickets. Every single one of them chose not to do it. And now they need to have a law to make themselves to do it. But the Lok Sabha numbers and the MLA numbers are only half the story. The other half, the half that determines what happens when these reserved legislative seats are actually filled in the party organization. Because the reserved seat will not fall from the sky. They will be allocated by party high command, parliamentary board, and those high command parliamentary board election committees, with one significant exception, entirely controlled by men. The BJP has 28 state union plus 6 union territory or 8 union territory. Women president hardly won money. 27 out of 28 are women in the entire ruling party. 45-year evidence of this party has never had a woman as a national president. When J.P. Chadha stepped down last year, names like Nirmala Sitharaman, Smriti Irani, Kundeshwari, and many others were floated. But the party chose Nitin Nabin, a young man again. Congress 28 Pradesh Congress Committee. Women leading perhaps in one. We are not sure about it. AAP has 0 heading any state organization at the moment. CPM, almost 0, decades of Marxist lectures on gender equality, 0 women state office bearers. TMK 0, AIDMK none, JDU none, SP none, RG none. And other parties are the same. And here is the question that cuts through all the parliamentary celebrations is going to happen. Every party has the complete freedom to appoint women to their own state president. No law stops them. No constitutional amendment is needed. They can do it tomorrow morning if they want, and they are serious about women. They have chosen not to. The same man who chose 90% male state president will now choose which woman occupied reserved legislative seats now after the revision. And history, Indian history, documented Indian history, tells us exactly how men in power make those choices. First comes the wife of the sitting MP or daughter-in-law of the sitting MP who cannot contest due to reservation. His political career continues uninterrupted, flowing through his wife as a vessel. Then the daughters, daughter-in-law, senior party leaders, daughters for whom reserved seats become convenient entry points. It has happened in the Panchayati as well. But it never publicly displayed. We are going through a patriarchal political system. And finally, and rarely, the genuine fighters, women who build their own grassroots field. They exist, but they succeed despite the system. And a male-dominated selection process will avoid them wherever it can, because capable, independent women are not safe. Safe means manageable. Patterns already have 30 years of evidence behind it. The Panchayati Raj system has placed women in formally elected positions across rural India since the early 90s. And the most consistently documented finding research on Indian local governance has a name, the Sarpanch Pati, the husband of a woman Sarpanch who actually attends meetings, signs document on wife's behalf, and makes decisions while his wife stays home. 3 decades constitutional guarantee, persistent toxic representation because the structure around the seats never changed. Now scale that to the Lok Sabha, to 4,000 state assembly seats, The risk is not theoretical, it is historical evidence. It proves that men dominate everywhere. And there is an exception, and that is TMC. The one exception that makes every other party's position indefensible. In 2024, 29 MLC, TMC Lok Sabha MP, 11 were women, 38%, highest of any major party. By a mile. Even in State Assembly, 34 women MLAs from a smaller overall pressure than the BJP or the Congress. Proportionally far ahead of both. Even at the booth level, women run the TMC ground organization. Sayani Ghosh, Chandrima Bhattacharya, Shashi Panja are not decorative figures. They are the powerful women who are running the organization. They make the decision. Now, constitutional amendment forces the TMC to do this. No law compels these numbers. One leader, Mamata Banerjee herself, was never given a position, who built her own party from scratch and led it through 28 years of defeats and victories, created a culture where women rising did not feel threatened to the person at the top. The TMC proved the lesson in Mumbai, where the person leading genuinely values women political power. The number is the change. They don't need any constitutional amendment. That's precisely what makes the celebration of every other party so difficult, so hypocritical to watch with a straight face. So here is today's bottom line. The constitutional amendment coming before Parliament is necessary legally and should pass through. Women reservation is India's legislature is long overdue. It could have been given the party themselves. The moral case is beyond argument. More women in Parliament means more women in Parliament means more women's perspective when laws are written, budgets are shaped, and the national priorities are set. But this bill is necessary precisely because political parties have spent 75 years refusing to do so. But for 75 years, through every Lok Sabha election, every state assembly election, every by-election, parties have complete freedom to give women their 30% seat to get. No law prevented it. No constitution blocked it. The man who ran these parties simply chose not to implement it. And the result, as well, I want to repeat, 9% of state MLAs, 30.6% of Lok Sabha seats, a number that went down the very election after the bill was passed. Now, those same parties are in parliament making speeches. The BJP will celebrate with one woman state president out of 28 and 45-year history of all male national president. Congress will celebrate with one woman Pradesh president out of 28, while positioning Priyanka Gandhi, who holds the position because of her sternness, not despite it, as evidence of women advancement. How many Congress presidents are women? How many general secretaries in the state or central level are women in both the parties, BJP and the Congress? Hardly. AAP will also say that we celebrated only one out of 28 Sabha. It's a hypocrisy. So DMK also got its community. She's the only person visible. There are others also in the women, but in the party organization, there are hardly women politicians active. Even in regional parties, you don't find any powerful women. Now the bill reserves 1/3 of the legislators. They want to use the legislature. It does not reserve 1/3 of the party state presidency or organization. It does not reserve 1/3 of the national executive position. It does not mandate that the man who will choose within which woman occupy reserved seat or will be given parliamentary seat have themselves created any space for women in their own. The bill asks parties to open one door, the legislative door, while leaving every internal organization door firmly in male hands. Without reforming any party structure, without requiring that the people choosing reserved seats or reserved seats for women, candidates are themselves part of an organization selection process. When the women hold genuine power, those reserved seats risk becoming exactly what Panchayat reservation procedure in too many places. They will not become the party Patni, MP Patni, or Patni MP Bahan. They should be MP on their own right. well-dressed proxies, women whose legislative presence conceal the unchanged male control of the actual machinery of politics. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's what happens when you change the outcome of a system, output of a system, without changing the system itself. You can pass the bill without hesitation, but every party leader making a speech today owes Indian women an honest answer to one question. If you genuinely believe that you are capable leader, why did it take constitutional amendment to give to the women who are almost 0.5% of the Indian voters to give what they deserve? What exactly prevented you for 75 years for doing this yourself? Real empowerment looks like Mayawati, who spent her entire career seizing power on her own terms and never waited for a quota, but she has not promoted any other woman in the party. Mamata Banerjee has done it. There is no alternative to that. Jayalalitha was there, she also did not give any other woman power. Sonia Gandhi was there for 18 years, she did not promote many women. But real empowerment looks like the millions of Indian women who vote in large numbers than men, who turn out in the summer heat and the monsoon rain to exercise democratic rights, and who just deserve in return a political system that treats them as principles rather than as problems to be managed through reservation. The bill is beginning. It's not an end. But real issue will be when the parties themselves reform their own organizational structure, giving maximum representation to the women in the selection process, decision-making process, in the executive post they held, not because of they will be nominated by others. Their own ticket allocation committee in which there will be more women without waiting for any other constitutional amendment to force them to do so. Election Commission has told them they can amend their own constitution. Instead of amending the Constitution of India, each party should show its commitment to the women empowerment by amending their own constitution, for which they don't need any parliament. Only if they do it, Indian women should accept the bill, but with reservation. But asking a question, that is what the bottom line is. 9% in 75 years, a bill that contradicts it, but the question still remains whether the party will also give them the reservation and participation in the system. That is to be answered. Otherwise, it will be total hypocrisy. Women will be only nominated women, not selected by themselves. That's enough for BottomLine today. Please watch my channel, subscribe it, share it, put your comments in writing. Good, bad, ugly, bitter, sweet. I will read them, but will never mind it. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.